Hey there, I'm Richie, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at FiFine's D6 Ampligame Stream Controller. This was sent out to me by FiFine, but in this video, I will be comparing it to the StreamDeck Mini and the StreamDeck Plus in as many ways as I can. Things like screen resolution and click feel to how good the softwares are comparatively. And then after doing all of that, I will finally be able to give my final results, how my pros and cons are with each device, and yeah. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Before unboxing the Ampligame D6 Stream Controller, I do want to mention its price. On Amazon, it's coming in at $120 or $130 depending on whichever color that you get. And then comparing it to its biggest competitor on the market, which is the StreamDeck, it's coming in at around the same price as the StreamDeck Classic, or it's $100 less than the StreamDeck Mark II. So I'll just let that sit in your brain and we'll move on to the unboxing now. Alright, so here it is. This is the FiFine D6 Ampligame Stream Controller, and let's take a look on the inside. You'll probably hear me say this is very similar to the StreamDeck because this is what they're trying to target, most likely, but first thing we see is a user's guide, just showing what's in the box, cable, StreamDeck, or Ampligame game controller actually, and then the software we can download. Wow, this really does look like StreamDeck software. And then some RGB modes, but let's not take it for a copy and let's see what it's like. Opening up the box, okay. The game controller or stream controller, and then its cable. Let's get the box out of the way. Here's the controller, and there's the opaque RGB bar around it. If you guys didn't know, there's that RGB bar, USB-C port, and the RGB switcher button. Rubber back. Let's see that. Okay. Well, the one thing I can say personally about this is the angle. I don't really like how shallow it is. Some people may like that, but I like it like sitting up like this and not having a stand. But take off the peel. It does look pretty nice, I have to say. I like the very clean white, very minimal branding. It does say it twice, but it does have pretty minimal branding. Referencing it to my StreamDeck Mini, it has about the same amount of branding. Button size, if you can see, button size. The Ampligame is bigger for sure. And click feel, let's see, I'll bring it up to the cam, or the mic. The Ampligame, it is a little firmer on the press, but I'd have to say it's more tactile. The one thing I've had an issue with on the StreamDecks is I press it and it doesn't press, and it doesn't have that responsive feeling, so I'm excited to see how this will feel if I misclick and things like that. But let's take the cable out and plug it in. Oh, this cable is pretty nice. It has a USB-C and USB-A port into the PC, and of course a USB-C port to go in the back. That's pretty good. All right, let's plug it in. All right. So this isn't the screen that you would get normally. I have messed with it a little bit. I've done a few things with the software and changed up how it'll look, but I've added a clock here, a magic 8-ball. That's a pretty cool thing I haven't really seen on StreamDeck. But here it is next to each other. I don't know if you can tell resolution, but in person, the resolution of the Ampligame does seem to be better on text, especially if you can tell the webcam versus the text or everything on the internet speed I have there. And I have to say, I like the specs of the Ampligame personally based off of first impression. The one thing I do have to say I don't like is that lean to it. It does seem pretty shallow, so I did print this thing actually already. This is a small stand to go onto the Ampligame. If you see here. This is how it would sit on my desk, and comparing it to the Stream Deck's angle now, I personally like that a lot better. Its shallowness was glancing for me. I'd see over it rather than at it, and doing this, it does have a little bit of give to it, but it's much better for me. Let's move on to the software now though. First things first, where would you get the software? And that's on their website. Coming over to FiFine website, going over to the others, and Ampligame D6. Going all the way down to the bottom of their listing on their website, you will find the downloads for both the Windows and the Mac OS. But now let's get into how the software actually looks. All right, here we are with it in the software open. We can see a live view, and it's pretty cool. Some of the things you can do, just looking at what they offered alone, you can slide in just the brightness, and you can see it appear right away. And if I do something like that, I can say it, oh, it brightens. I told it to brighten or darken, and this would be, here, 1 second. You can see the screens go much darker. Personally, I like my screens pretty bright. That's just me. Turn the light back on. Let's go see what other things we can do. I already have, this is OBS record, and this is pause recording. If I need it, you can put Spotify in here. Got play, pause. This would be how you do like bar rater, but there is a slight difference of something you'll have to do. It'll show you and how you do it, but everything here seems the same. Like this is what you would see if you're logging into Spotify. You can also seamlessly delete the things. Oh, one really cool thing that I found on their shop, pretty seamless. You don't have to go into a browser or anything. It just opens up a new page or opens up a new window. And I found a magic 8-ball, which, let's see. Wow, isn't that cool? Oh my. But yeah, I personally have to say the software of this, although it is kind of like a carbon copy of StreamDeck software, it is pretty good. There are some plugins that I had to use instead of the ones I use on my Stream Deck. Like this clock isn't the same clock I use, or these Spotify and the OBS aren't made by the same people, but their plugin works almost exactly the same. I haven't noticed anything crazy. Another cool thing that I really like is System Performance Monitor. This one from FiFine seems a lot more easy to use, as I used to use on the Stream Deck, or I have used on the Stream Deck HW Info. Here you have to choose the specific sensor and everything, and for novices it could be a little bit hard to actually know which sensor you want to read. But with FiFine, their System Performance Monitor actually splits it up really easily, and I can just put in CPU usage, or I have my CPU temp and my GPU temp and even my internet speed here already. So hey, I have to say this is probably much better for the beginners if they're looking to get just like, it's their first Stream Deck and they just want to be able to pop things in without worry. Like, look at this. I'm pretty sure if I go into my game shortcuts, I can pull game shortcut and boom, pop it in there, and now it'll start my game. That is something I never really did on the Steam Deck. I don't know if you can do it, but that's really damn cool. I personally enjoy using this software. There's more that I figured out how to do. I don't know if I can do it on Steam Deck, but it's a lot more user-friendly and beginner-friendly, I'd have to say. But let's compare it now to the actual Stream Deck. Opening up Stream Deck. Takes a little time. You can see they're basically the exact same. I have no dials on this one. Let's go to my StreamDeck Mini. So you can make infinite pages, it seems. And I'm not really seeing much difference in anything. There is this that you pick your device from down there, pick your device up there. You go in, there's the fonts, text, there you go in, the fonts, text. Really it is just a carbon copy of the exact same thing, but I don't know, they did pretty well at copying it, I guess. Everything works fine. Everything's working seamlessly. I have had no issues. I've been testing the Ampli game for about 2-3 days now, and I have noticed no lack in functionality. Personally though, it is amazing. If this was your beginner thing, budget-wise and everything, this is probably a very good option for the quality that you're getting. It's comparable to the StreamDeck buttons. Tactile feedback, in my opinion, more tactile feedback. You get more options. Like, that is not on StreamDeck. At least I haven't looked for it on the StreamDeck, but that's pretty cool. And it's much easier to just put things in. The information is divided up for you rather than put in, like, rather than on HW info. It's a little bit harder to find. And yeah, if I had to recommend, I'd say the Ampli game. If you wanted to save a little bit of money, go for that one over StreamDeck. You're losing a little bit of variety in plugins and things like that, but I'm very sure FiFine is going to be introducing more into their ecosystem the longer that this is up. This is their first product like this, so yeah, it's really good, I have to say. Now, I do want to bring up, as my final thoughts, some pros, some cons, and some things on how I think that the StreamDeck compares to the Ampli game and how the Ampli game compares to the StreamDeck. And first and foremost, I have to say tech things on the Ampli game, like the buttons, the resolution, some parts of the software, everything like that, I actually like more on the Ampli game, because I've had a few gripes with the StreamDeck for a while where I can press in individual corners, not get any feedback from that. It doesn't seem to proc what's actually there. But on the Ampli game, I haven't really had any issues of like pressing in an individual corner and it doesn't proc it. Or I've also enjoyed how the screens are bigger and they're also higher resolution on the Ampli game. So things like that I actually like more here, but there are some cons that I've had. Like, first and foremost, why the heck is it so far back? Why? I printed this thing, I 3D printed it, and it makes it much better, but why is it leaning so far back when I'm supposed to be looking at my monitor or I have my keyboard and my mouse pad in front of me? So that's one of my biggest gripes I've had with it. And then the actual light bar, it doesn't turn off when the PC turns off. I shut down my PC before going to sleep and this thing just sits on. So the LED aspect of it, I've kind of had to just not use it because I found it pretty wasteful. Other than that though, this thing's fabulous. I have to say it's really good. When I first bought my StreamDeck, this was given to me by a friend, but you see it in the corner here. When I bought my StreamDeck Plus XLR thing, it was pretty damn expensive, but for this it kind of hits all the targets that I need, and I don't have any bad things to say about the software other than it's a carbon copy of StreamDeck, which is not really good moral to me. But yeah, with all that said though, I do want to say a big thank you to FiFine for sending the D6 out to me. It was definitely a great addition to my setup, and it has its own spot now right next to my StreamDeck Mini and my StreamDeck Plus. And I can also recommend this to anybody who is on the fence about getting the StreamDeck Mark II because of how expensive it is. The D6 definitely has its place and is a great competitor against the StreamDecks right now. That's because it is kind of a carbon copy of the StreamDeck Mark II, but besides the point, thank you again, FiFine, for sending it out to me, and that's all I have to say for now. If you like this, please leave a like on the video and think about subscribing. I will have more mousepad and mouse reviews coming up very soon, but that's all for now. So thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for sticking around, and ta-ta for now.